Shalom la ha alahayim. Now Wathan call halalim la Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Racha Hakwadash. Peace to the gods, giving all praises to the Heavenly Father in the name of the God and Son and the Holy Spirit. Double honors unto the elder apostles, the elder bishops, and the head elders of all the camps of GMS, Great Millstone, who do well, who we learn this 100% truth from. Peace and blessings upon the tabernacle of David, that through the Spirit the Most High is raising up the governing body of the 144,000, 12,000 of men of each tribe of Israel, as well as the remnant of men, women, and children of the innumerable multitude, the remaining 1/3 that believe on the gospel and also do show their faith by their works. To you, we say shalom. To you, sincere Akim wa Akwath, may peace and blessings be upon your household. It's your brother Tazapanya Ban Yamyan of the Sons of Yasha Allah camp out here in Colorado Springs, Colorado, coming back at it again with a quick hit through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah. Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 21, and it reads, "For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be." Verse 22, "And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened." Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai, Brakata Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. As you can see, all right, in the title, Polycrisis, okay, equals Jacob's trouble. And this video that I'm about to place reads, this is from CNBC, which is the financial sector of the NBC News Network. And it says, "We're in the middle of a polycrisis," World Economic Forum says. Now, why am I going to the World Economic Forum so much? Because there is about 180 billionaires that is currently in Davos, Switzerland, that is meeting up to construct and orchestrate how they think the world should be contained, be ruled, be governed in the times to come. Although Pastor Tahar says, because they have this every year, but it kind of was on a different schedule because of the pandemic, but he would stay tuned. All right, and this one is big because these people have came out with reports saying that in the February report of 2022, if I'm not mistaken, okay, that they will put in subdermally a computer chip that will be a part of the coming global financial system, okay? And we all know that the last major prophecy is the charagma, all right, of the beast, NATO/EU, okay? America also being the forefront of the whore that sitteth and rideth upon the beast. Okay, so polycrisis, what does that mean? Poly, if I'm not mistaken, is Latin for many. Crisis, meaning a dire event or situation. Okay, basically getting hit from all sides. Okay, and the WEF says we're right in the middle of it. So even when Elder Apostle Rakar said that, Jacob's trouble was started, hey man, through the Spirit, I agree. Now we're not in the climax of it, but we're seeing the increasing very swiftly. This is why I read in Matthew 24, verse 21, it reads again, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. All right. And we're starting to see again, no country has ever been in this much ibatya, thick clay, heavy debt, as America has been in all time. Never has there been so many countries that is backed upon the world reserve currency, the US dollar. Never has there been in so many countries riots and protests for various reasons, all right, of people not regarding their prince and rulers, man. Okay, verse 22 reads, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. And that's what we're trying to be of. The elect. That's why we call ourselves the hope for elect. So I'm going to let this video play. I got it on cue. And then we're going to go into a little bit more scriptures and close it out.
What is a polycrisis, and how and when could it happen?
We're actually in the midst of one at the moment. We have an energy crisis and food crisis and economic downturn that are all happening at the same time. It's the set of concurrent cascading risks that happen at the same time. So that's where we are today. That's 2023. What we're seeing, though, is that in the 2-year time frame, the 10-year time frame, we're at the risk of more of these polycrises unfolding. 2 years out, there's still a concern among the experts that we surveyed that cost of living is going to be number one, but at the same time, a big risk of natural disasters. 10 years out, it's all about climate.
What then?
So look at that. According to the so-called experts, these pseudoscientists, the number one risk is going to be cost of living, man. That means the majority of people that lives on the planet Earth is not going to be able to sustain themselves or their family in the coming years. Now, through the spirit, because the way things is going, I say in the coming months. Shit, right now. I just seen on Instagram from the ages of 18 to 29, 51% of people live with their parents, man, because they cannot afford to live on their own. 51%. 1 out of 2 people of the ages of 18 to 29 live with their parents. Doesn't matter if you have a fucking stupid ass college degree or whatever it may be. Selling stupid ass drugs. You feel me? Niggas is trapping out of their mother crib, man. You know, Jake. But the point is that this thing is gonna get bad, and it's gonna go from bad to worse, man. If you do not have the covering of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, you're through. You're through. It's over. This is the end. If the scriptures say in 2nd Ezra chapter 9, to measure thou the time diligently. What time are we in? The WEF says we're in a time of polycrisis, not one crisis, but many crises all at once. So filter that through the scriptures. What do you think we in? The last days, man. Yahushua is literally going to reveal himself in this generation. And we ain't talking no years down the line. One major prophecy is set to hit, and the days is going to be shortened, and Yahushua is going to reveal himself. And y'all know what I'm talking about. Because these people are already having a report, the World Economic Forum. And if you can see, there's a line that goes through these O's that makes the numbers 6, 6, and 6. Look up the World Economic Forum's emblem. Okay? Either way, man, we at the end of this thing, man. We have to be in sufficient, non-stop prayer, asking for the Most High to destroy this place and to save us, man.
Can the great and good that a gathering at the World Economic Forum in Davos do to mitigate these risks, Sadia? And in terms of the policy prescription, it just feels to many around the world who have been struggling with inequality, the cost of living crisis, the ramifications of inflation and climate change, that our leaders have been asleep at the wheel.
Now I'm gonna say this too, because Yahweh himself said that there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, man. California, every American knows that California is ready for the big one. We've been ready for it. They've made movies about it. San Andreas, 2012. When I was young, they've been talking about California's been waiting for a 7, 8, or 9 plus on the Richter scale earthquake that is supposed to destroy from Sacramento all the way down to San Diego, man. Turn into an island. And then I just recently saw somebody, a scientist or some church guy, Edomite, maybe, who knows, that stays in the prophecies more than these Christian jakes here, right? He has an appearance of an Edomite. In 2011, he was like, before that earthquake, I don't know if he had a dream, vision. I mean, the scriptures do say that, I'll pour my seed out upon all flesh, and they shall, your young men shall dream dreams, and young women shall see visions, roughly paraphrasing. That before that great earthquake, there's supposed to be a great storm of hurricane magnitude to hit California. And then when I thought about it and meditated on it, the amount of water that seeps down and through the earth has to be able to cause some type of movement within the fault lines of California. And whether it be HARP, you see what I'm saying? It will still be Yahweh Shem Yahushua on the left-hand side, you going through using, Esau, right? But that much water, they saying, has never happened since World War II. And that was just the first one. The one behind it is supposed to be even greater, and the one even behind that is supposed to be up to like a Category 3 hurricane. And California don't get no hurricanes, man. We talking flooding, we talking landslides. It seems very likely, man, that this may cause a ripple effect of natural disasters to not only hit the West Coast and maybe even turn the lights off, because all the grids is connected to each other. It's 4 grids: the Western grid, the Eastern grid, the Midwestern grid, and Texas has its own grid. And they're all connected to each other. One goes out, it's over with. But let's continue on.
It is a very, very challenging environment at the moment. The last time that inequality and inflation were major concerns at the same time.
Now, I just did a video talking about how the debt limit in America is going to reach 31.7 trillion, and they're going to default on January 19th. Now, if Davos is supposed to be ending at the 20th, you think that's a coincidence that the debt limit is supposed to reach at an all-time high the same day that they end the Davos meeting in Switzerland of all the 100+ billionaires that's linked up together at the meeting? Come on, man.
Time with an energy crisis was back in 2012 and 2013. We're coming off of the global financial crisis.
So watch this. The World Economic Forum says the biggest risks for 2023: energy supply crisis, cost of living crisis, rising inflation, food supply crisis, and cyber attacks on critical infrastructure. If that's not straight out the scriptures, I don't know what is, man. The scriptures say in the beginning of sorrows, great famine, right? Inflation, hyperinflation, Revelation 6:6, right? Cost of living crisis. People going to be running into people's houses. Eviction, the IRS, all that shit. Energy, the lights going out, cyber attacks. Like, man, this place is through. Babylon cannot be healed, man. If they're telling you the biggest risk, that means they already planned for it.
Some of these concerns.
Matter of fact, hold on. Well, I'll do that later because I'm gonna have to take a picture of this, man.
But much of this is not something that today's generation of leaders has experienced, and even those that have are now facing a whole new set of risks and threats, whether that is climate or whether that's technological change. So it is a very complex environment to be in. What we're calling for is that leaders need to have a dual lens in place. Yes, there are short-term crises, short-term emergencies. They have to deliver solutions to their populations, but that's not going to be achieved with a purely inward stance, and that's not going to be achieved with a purely short-term stance. There needs to be the sort of medium-term investment. For example,
10-year global risk severity. Number 1, failure to mitigate climate change. Number 2, failure of climate change adaptation. Number 3, natural disasters and extreme weather. Number 4, biodiversity loss and ecosystem collapse. Number 5, large-scale involuntary migration. And then they've been talking about a climate change lockdown, man. They're gonna really push this climate change agenda. I think it was Project Veritas, and they was having hidden cameras and interviewing, getting a beer at a bar with like a CNN journalist or employee or whatever, and how they were saying, yeah, right now it's the Crown Vicky, but after we're gonna be pushing climate change, climate change, climate change, climate change, climate change, climate change, man. Be aware of this whole climate change as it being a part of the Hegelian dialectic, cause, reaction, solution.
In health systems, for example, in education and skilling, the kinds of things that put in place societal resilience, and most importantly, climate change mitigation and climate change adaptation, which are the top 1 and 2 risks.
Sadia, Martin here. Short term, in the here and now, I think you both, you and Shreevers are talking about the food crisis and also the energy crisis. They basically have the single source. It may have started partly with the coronavirus, but now it's pretty obviously emanating from the ongoing war in Ukraine. Let me ask you, do you think that how much of a part of the conversation is that going to be at this year's Davos? The war, I mean.
You know, the report covers 5 verticals: economic risks, technological ones, geopolitical ones, societal ones, and environmental ones. All 5 of those areas are going to be part of the meeting next week as leaders from various sectors come together. But more importantly, it's not so much about looking at these issues in silos. It's looking at the interconnections between them and finding those synergistic solutions. So, for example,
see, they're looking at how all these risks collaborate or connect behind the closed doors, and we know because the world is being ruled by the wicked and the people mourn. The whole world is waiting for the Israelites to rule, man, and the people will rejoice. So we know why everything, because of the rulership. And this is why the kingdom will be translated from one people to another, because of unrighteous dealings and riches gotten by deceit, man.
The kinds of technologies, agricultural technologies, that can increase, for example, crop yields. The kinds of technologies that
the technologies that they talking about to increase crop yields to so-called stop world hunger is GMO. You see what I'm saying? These people, everything is artificial to them because they want to play, they want to be like the Most High, man. You feel me? They are cancer to this earth and they're going to be ridden. After, of course, we put them in slavery, Lord willing, man, we of that number, man. Fishers turn into hunters and put them in chains like the book of Psalms says.
Then make reskilling and upskilling much faster for workers that are at risk of displacement. Those are the kinds of solutions we'll be looking at because we need to see what's going to deliver the greatest return on investment, especially as governments face more constrained budgets that they have in some time.
Right, so governments is going to have restrained budgets. It shows you now who is the one that gives money unto these governments? The central banks, and the central banks are part of greater central banks like the International Monetary Fund, going into your special drawing rights, your SDRs, which is just another made up fiat type currency that's based on the five. I mean, I could go into that, do your research, but either way, all right, these people are purposely bankrupting governments so that they can take it over, put a puppet person in there, all right, so that they can basically have more control over these corporations, man. All right. So I'm gonna leave off with one script as we hitting the limit now, 20 minutes. This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 16, verse 17. Woe is me, woe is me. Who will deliver me in those days? All right. And you know, the beloved brother Azara, and I think he always brings this out, is because you know Azara is Ezra in the Lashon HaKodash, the Holy Tongue. All right. And this is the type of spirit that we're supposed to be in, because we don't know if we're going to make it, but yet we're given diligence to make our calling and election sure. All right. And we asking who will deliver me in those days, because we know we can't deliver ourselves. Hence why we need a savior. So technically it's a rhetorical question. This is why we have faith in the name of Yahweh Shai. All right. Because his name literally means he delivers, man. And Lord willing, he delivers us on that first trip through them chariots, okay, them UFOs, okay. When this shit goes to the lake of fire, it gets, you know, incinerated, all right, by the hypersonic, thermonuclear, multiple warhead equipped intercontinental ballistic missiles that will be the climax of the sum of all fears, which is World War III, the third woe, which is prophesied in the scriptures. Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect, and to the next time. Shalom.